I love it. You know what?
Can you
And
believe this is 10 years old? Sorry, let's
I
just get in on
know.
that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel gross.
So the reason that this is kind of making the news, and this was more maybe last week's news, but they were talking about it again, is that everyone's talking like, oh, well, it looks like Final Fantasy XV might be coming to the Switch too. But it turns out that that was really just a shareholders meeting where I guess the board of directors or whoever is like, hey, is it possible we could get that Final Fantasy 15 that all the kids like and put that on the on the Nintendo? And I think they basically said, I'm paraphrasing here obviously, said, yeah, I mean, it might be possible. We'll talk to the dev team and see if that's something we could do. And that's kind of where it started, and I think that's where it ended. But I mean, it would be pretty cool to have Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch too.
This is a good game to port over.
Yeah.
To Switch.
Yeah.
This one works really well. I remember playing the demo for this and being like, I'm not playing Final Fantasy. I don't know what I'm playing, but I'm here and I'm playing something.
Yeah.
I remember how beautiful it was when it came out. I was like, wow, nothing has looked like this before. This was just the peak at the time. And I remember playing through it. I remember how much everyone hated the prison castle level and loved the car.
Yeah. I'm new to the Final Fantasy world relatively. I've only been, here for a few years now, a couple years. And if there's one thing I've learned, a lot of people hate anything that's new in Final Fantasy. And then after it's been out about 3 or 4 years, then it becomes a classic and it needs a remaster according to everybody. So I don't know.
10 years on, this game is a legend. People I think speak really well of this game, which I completely understand. No, it was one very small part that I think people had some most flack with. Ashen, you're making a face like people don't like this game, but I think they do. I think the characters were endearing. I think the world was beautiful. I mean, it was a big change for the series, but overall it was well received for being fun, interesting, and exciting. Tell me what you're thinking.
So I had two thoughts. One is Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy XIII. No amount of time happens before people start liking those. People just hate them. Period. End of story.
Also true.
And then, but 15, I think the main takeaway from it wasn't necessarily they didn't like the characters or the world or even the combat, but the combat's wishy-washy. It's more about the pacing, like because when the game came out, they had, this is even before the DLCs, they had cut out portions of the game and sold those as DLC. So like sometimes some of your friends would go off and do something else and you don't know what they did, and they'd come back and tell you about it. But then later you bought the DLC and people were really up in arms about that. And then on top of that, you had to watch the anime, you had to watch the movie. So then there's other extra outside of the game things you had to do that people were upset. But now so much time's kind of gone by that's easier to digest and easier to get into, right?
Right, like if you kind of step back and look at it a little more objectively as a whole package, it's pretty good. But that's what I heard like around like when it was new, it felt, I don't know if hodgepodgey is the right term, but I mean, that's just what I've heard. Because I've gone back and like read old Reddit posts to see what people were saying.
The story is bad.
What's that?
Yeah, the pacing for the story was really bad back then. Oh, okay. And now you get like the deluxe edition that's got everything in it, so it's not as egregious as what it was when it first came out.
Yeah, this is one I'm looking forward to playing because as much as I'm new getting into JRPGs. I've only played a couple, Chrono Trigger. And, now I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. I played the first Final Fantasy. I'm loving them. But these are more my type of games traditionally. Like I'm a Final Fantasy XIV player. That's probably my favorite game of all time. So these kind of big games like this, appeals to me. Like 16 appeals to me. I played through the demo on 16. Can't wait to play the full thing. They're just,
those type of games speak to me. JRPG.
This one is, yeah. Right?
Yeah. So that's like, I'd say that's the define. It's action before anything else.
Right.
So, and actually this is where, and 16 is kind of like a spiritual successor. This actually started to trend into like closer to Western action RPG.
That's what they were trying to model. Yeah.
Right.
They're trying to model Western.
It's an interesting twist, buddy. I think it'll be really cool for you to kind of like move from, 10 into 12 into 13 into 15 and be like, okay, because now looking back I'm like, oh, linearly this all kind of makes sense, but at the same time it was so jarring as a player.